Introducing the Open Palm Podcast with host Jerome Shaw, available today on your favorite podcast platforms. The Open Palm Podcast is a positive, uplifting, motivational, and inspirational podcast. The host brings his insight and philosophy, and you can't help but gravitate towards his smile, his words, and his wisdom. Again, the podcast he hosts is titled The Open Palm Podcast. It's about inspirational messages, motivating themes, and thought-provoking ideas and topics. He'll also help you become more aware and in harmony with your own life, giving you a better understanding of your place in the world and using your skills accordingly, greeting the world with an open palm instead of a closed fist. You can find the show today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. You can also connect with the host on Instagram at JRomeShaw. That's JROMESHAW on Instagram. Jerome Shaw with the Open Palm Podcast. Motivation, meditation, mentality. Go listen, download, and subscribe today.
There are 4 things that never return: the spoken word, the speeding arrow, the wasted life, and the neglected opportunity. I want to talk about the first thing that never returns. This is the spoken word. Once something is said, it cannot be unsaid. Once something is done, it cannot be undone. Have you ever told someone something that you wish you hadn't? Have you ever said something that you later regretted and wish that you had just kept it to yourself? You know, they say, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. I think that is such a wise saying. Too many times in my life I have said things that if I had just been silent, situations could have been different. Whole paths could have been taken. Whole heartaches could have been avoided. Pain could have been denied. But instead, because of my pride, I said it. And I realized later on, since hindsight is 20/20, that serving the ego does not serve you. What does it mean to serve your ego? Ego, the 3-letter word that has a chance to destroy a 12-letter word called relationship. Ego, following your earthly guide only, or etching God out. Ego. When we are in our egoic mind, it's not something that we have to kill the ego or we have to destroy the ego, but we don't have to be a slave to our ego and let our ego run our lives. The ego, if we are in a car, could be in the back seat, but sometimes we allow our ego to drive. They say that if you are riding in a chariot, you are the driver. The chariot is your body, and the horses are your ego. Sometimes you gotta rein them in. Pull on those reins. Stop the horses. Halt. Be silent. Calm down that ego. Don't let it run you off the cliff. The spoken word is so powerful. And since I've realized the power of words, I've decided to use my words for good, to build people up and not tear people down. How will you use your spoken word? How will you deal with your ego? And what can you do today to make sure that the relationships you build have a foundation that is rock solid and not built on sinking sand? Thank you for listening, my friend. This has been Jerome Shaw on TOP, the Open Palm Podcast here in San Antonio, Texas. I trust you received an encouraging message about the spoken word and about ego. Not allowing the ego to rule you or run your relationships into the ground, and not allowing those words, once spoken, to let regret creep into your life. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if this is your first time receiving this podcast, subscribe for more content like this. And if you'd like to support, consider opening your browser to anchor.fm/jshaw. Clicking the support button there is much appreciated. Big shout out and thank you to all the wonderful supporters who donate to the podcast, making it possible for episodes like this. Have a blessed day or night wherever you are. And as always, take care, my friend.